Hey everybody, I'm Kariba, and today I'm going to share something different that I haven't done before like this, not on my channel, not personally one-on-one with my fans. I'm going to tell you the story of my past and how I came to put this book together. Um, I would never have thought in a million years that I would write a book. One, and I would never have imagined that I would write a book about the things that I went through, because these are things that people don't want to talk about. They want to pretend it doesn't happen. They don't want you sharing it because maybe it's going to bring shame on, the family or whatever. But I did. So if you're new to my channel, welcome and get ready for this. It's going to be an interesting story. And if you're a subscriber already, welcome back. So you guys have been asking me to share this story for so long. Growing up, I came from a well-to-do family. Like, I'm not going to give a sob story like, oh, we were poor or whatever. No, we weren't. We lived in a really nice neighborhood. My dad was doing really well. We had all these nice toys and nice clothes, the good life. But, life happens, and it doesn't matter where you live or where you were born. Everybody has a story and has a struggle. So for me, I started being sexually abused by the gardener. And it started really innocently, and I think I was around 6 years old. We would just play this game like, doctor, patient, and stuff like that. And, it was innocent, you go to the doctor and you're checked and all that, and then suddenly it just progressed to something else. And that was how it all got started. I'm not sure I can even remember in detail like how it felt, because the mind has a beautiful way of blocking out things that are either traumatic or, too much for one to bear. So I kind of have a big blur when it comes to my childhood, but those things I do remember. This went on for a while, and then it just felt like every time a guy saw me, it was the same thing. It was like, ooh, that's somebody I want to touch, or, all those weird, inappropriate things. And eventually, I just really broke inside me. I completely broke, because I would listen and see my friends, when they're talking, and they had all these crushes on boys, and life just seemed so normal. And my life just was like, well, I don't know what it's like to have a crush on a guy. In fact, I just don't want any guy to see me, because every time they do, it's more like I'm just an object of some desire that they want to touch me in a certain way, and do things to me that just left me feeling really broken down and robbed, As life progressed, I tried to numb that pain, by drinking and, smoking, all these things that, yes, teenagers get into, but also it became the building blocks to my wall, of blocking out any feelings and just memories of what had happened to me. As though that wasn't enough, I went ahead and got raped. And when I think about this story, I always think that it just sounds unbelievable even to me, because it wasn't just one incident, it was multiple, and by different people. And you would just wonder, are you really telling a real story? Are you faking it? But it is true. And I even say it in the book that it feels like I had this dark cloud that followed me, and I had a sign on my head or something that just said, abuse me, you know, um, because it just kept happening. And at some point, I just, gave up. I became promiscuous. And I know a lot of people would look at me, or maybe other people who've gone through what I've gone through, and be like, oh, you're such a slut, or you're such a hoe, and calling them names. But I've now come to realize that when you see certain behaviors, sometimes it can tell you a lot about what something is, what's going on, or what has happened to somebody. So a lot of times now, I've come to understand that a lot of the things we see are symptoms to something deeper. So when you see somebody drinking all the time, or somebody just out there sleeping around, it is a symptom of something that's underlying there. So don't be too quick to judge people. Um, at some point, I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And it didn't seem like life would ever be normal for me. And I just wanted it to stop. I really just wanted it to stop. I used to pray that I would go to sleep and not wake up, because it just felt like I was so tired of living. I was so depressed. It was so hard to get up in the morning and go, and everybody kind of be like, you'll be fine, get over it. But it really was that difficult. And one day I just thought, you know what, I am going to just end it altogether. And I had planned to do just that. And, well, clearly it didn't work, because I'm here. I had an encounter with whom I'd like to say is God at that point. And for the first time, I felt like I had hope to just live again. I know I'm not going into so much details, because I've really got into so much detail in the book. Like, I talk about every single person, every feeling I had, every thought, everything that I can remember in the book. And I don't want to have to go through it here again. So be sure to get a copy of that. I'll let you know where at the end of the video. Once I had that encounter with God, as I said, I just felt like I had some hope. And it wasn't the kind of, feeling like when people say, oh, I got saved and then I started going to church and all this. There wasn't that pressure for me in that sense. It was just a sense of hope to live another day. And I kept doing that. And slowly by slowly, changing how my life was and healing from what I was going through. And a lot of people ask me, like, how did you just get past some of these things? How did you heal? How did you forgive? And it may sound too simple and even crazy, but I remember just writing letters. I would write letters to everybody who hurt me, and I would say what they did, how it made me feel. I would get mad. I would insult them or whatever it was in the letter. I would cry when I was writing it. And then at the end of the letter, I would just set it on fire and just be like, you know what, it's done, it's over, I'm letting this go. And I did that for every person that I felt had hurt me. And strangely enough, the most difficult person to have to deal with was myself, because I did feel a lot of guilt, I did feel a lot of resentment towards myself, thinking, oh, you could have done better, you should have done better, you should have, could have, would have, all the ifs and maybes. So the most difficult thing for me was to try and forgive myself, and then look to myself as somebody deserving of love and kindness and all of that. And that's something I still have to work on even now, It's not the journey that you go through it one day, 1 week, and it's okay. It's like something that requires time, and you have to work on it every day. But at the end of it all, I thought, I'm great, I'm fine, I'm feeling much better, and I'm healed, and I'm gonna go through life just helping other people, being this single mom, and going through life talking and to people, telling them my story and giving them hope. I would never have imagined that I would actually find a man that I loved and could love me and actually have a family, like a fully functioning family, and live an actual happy life. Like, those were things I never could have imagined. I mean, I listen to girls saying, oh, I want to grow up, I want to be this. Oh, this is what my wedding day is going to be like. And when I look at myself as a child, I never had those hopes. So it truly is something I never imagined. But here I am now. I'm a very happily married woman. I found my best friend in high school. And years later, we met again and we got married. Um, he he really changed my perspective on men in general. He's such a gentleman. He's such a sweetheart. He embodies the opposite of what I thought men would be. Like, men never protected me. They abused me. And he protects me. Like, he's just ready to, put himself out there to make sure that I'm okay. He loves me, like, loves me on my level. He looks at me and says, you're so difficult, you're so stubborn, you're so weird, but I love you. Like, I never thought somebody would stick with me through all of those things. And he also took me as I was. I didn't hide my past from him, and I didn't deny that I had a kid, and he took me and my son in. And not only that, he stood with me and for me, regardless of the fact that in their community, they don't even marry that far out. So here I am today, and I never thought I would have children. In the course of my, what had happened to me in my past, I did actually have an abortion. And I thought, I'm never going to have children again. God's never going to forgive me and allow me to have kids after doing this. But I have two amazing kids after my firstborn. I have these two amazing kids with my husband. And I cannot believe that I actually am a stay-home mom. Like, I really thought I'd be this career-oriented, lady, and I'd be out there doing this and doing that. But I'm a stay-home mom. I'm a housewife. The two things I never thought I would be, and loving it. I love doing this. And I know it's part of the journey, and I'm going to go on to doing other things, but this is where I am right now. And I cannot believe how much I love it. And I remember talking to my mom just yesterday, and she said, I wish you were my mom. And that was the biggest compliment I could get from my mother, like her saying that. So not wanting to have kids to being this amazing mom is, fantastic. And when it comes to life, I cannot wait to wake up in the morning and live a new day. Like, I never know what's going to happen, but I'm open to everything. I'm open to everything. Like I said, I can't believe I wrote a book. I cannot believe I have 3 kids and that I'm married. And I can't believe some of the things I get up to, like, diving. I'm a diver. I'm a certified diver. Learning how to kite surf. And whatever life throws at me, I'm just in a place where I came from. God, I don't want to wake up tomorrow. Please don't let me wake up tomorrow. to now thinking, oh my God, I have to wake up tomorrow. I have to wake up. I can't wait to see what adventure I'm going to live out tomorrow. So that really basically captures all this and my life currently in a nutshell. And I just welcome you to see more of my videos and see more about how my husband and I met and see more about, my kids and how I had my kids, because I have all that on video. Yes, my pregnancy journey, and just see all the amazing adventures that we get up to. Every day is an amazing adventure. It doesn't have to be this huge international trip. It can be a day trip, just a day at the beach or whatever. For me, it's just a blessing and something that I'm so excited to have and to share with you. So if you're watching this video and you're in that place where you feel like I can't live another day, you can live another day. And you should live another day, because the value of your life is not in other people and the things that happen to you. The value of your life is in yourself, and it is in God who made you and wakes you up every day. When I look at my life now, I come to understand that I'm here because, like how if you get bit by a snake, the antidote for the venom is in the venom itself. That's how I feel about my life. Like, I had to go through all of that to be an antidote for people who have gone through what I went through, to let them know that, hey, it's okay. You may have gotten this hit, you may have gotten this venom running through you, but guess what? You can live again. You will live again, and you will love it. So that really is it. So let me know in the comment section if you've ever gone through something that's just broken you and you wanted to give up, and also if all of this makes sense to you. And if you do want a copy of my book, you can email me. My email address will be on the screen, or you can just check out my Instagram page, They to Kariba, and hit me up in the DMs, and I'll let you know how you can get a copy. It's only 600 shillings. And please like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. I have a page, so like that there. And thank you. I'll see you in the next one.